Hadn't started
Oh,
yet. Now
there it is. Okay. Hello, everybody. We're late, but we're here.
Hey. How's everything? Where are we at? We're on the couch. This is actually our studio.
We're in the podcast studio.
We're in the podcast studio today.
It's exciting.
Definitely welcome you guys to the couch. This is new and improved couch location. We're going to be here for a while, so we had to make sure everything was on the up and up, set up right.
Mm-hmm. It's our first day in the studio, so we had to get technical stuff and microphones and taping stuff set up. So that's why we are late.
Coming a little bit more official in regards to the couch. This is the official couch. And the reason why I say official couch is because we will be broadcasting live. Well, not live, but we'll be broadcasting on internet radio. Power 104.4 FM. Download the app. Power 104. Look it up. We'll have the instructions and all that good stuff on our post, so you can definitely download the app. You know, it's a internet radio station, so there's music and all that good stuff. So we'll actually have music in between our breaks and all this stuff. It's going to be phenomenal. I'm excited.
Okay, wait.
Oh, that's good.
Damien's face really doesn't read the excitement level. I think he's speaking it, and I am, exuding it. So I'm very excited. I was excited when Damien told me that we had secured a podcast spot. A lot of people were asking us about podcasts, people that could not make it to the Facebook Live segment to watch, people that wanted to listen to this at work and on their way home. So this is very exciting, and it's a blessing to have this opportunity and then to be able to air it on the radio. So internet radio.
Absolutely.
So we have arrived.
Yeah, we're trying to do some things here. We're trying to do some things, definitely. So again, for you guys, if this is your first time tuning in, my name is Damien Harmon, licensed therapist, and this is Mrs. Jacqueline Curry, the most, magnificent and all that good stuff. All those good adjectives and all that good stuff. And this is the couch where we sit here and we discuss everything mental health.
Yep.
From diagnoses to current events to things that affect our mental health on a daily basis. So I'm just in good spirit today.
I am too. I'm excited. I'm a little hype right now.
Yeah, I was kind of agitated a little bit earlier.
I was too.
That type of thing, but
But look at this.
To be in the studio, we're live and we're going to broadcast on Mondays. Every Monday.
On internet radio.
On internet radio. I'm going to give you all the instructions that you need to download the app for it. You can listen to the music all day, every day. But we're going to be broadcasting on Monday.
On Monday.
At 2 o'clock, 2 to 3 p.m. So while you're at work, if you want to listen to the couch while we're talking and listen to some good music, definitely download the app. You can still hear us. You may not be able to see these lovely faces, but at least you'll be able to hear us. That type thing. So it's an exciting time. Hey everyone. Hey, how's everyone?
Hi Diane. Hey Shamir.
Hi, Shamir.
Hey fam.
Yeah, I know
That's
her.
my boo right there. So
yes.
I just want to make sure, as therapists with our clients, we always want to remind them to be present in the moment.
Right.
And I know we have an agenda of things we want to talk about, but I really think it's important to put emphasis on living in the present.
Absolutely.
And doing what you feel is going to make a difference in your life to the point where it's going to improve your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors in a positive way.
Right.
And when you brought the idea to me of doing the couch, we had no name for it. But I remember when you said, I'm thinking about doing this and using social media as the platform, and what do you think? And I appreciate that you asked me. I was not totally shocked because I am entertaining to look at and to talk to.
How are you doing?
Hi. Back to me. I'm entertaining. I'm entertaining to look at and to talk to. So that's why you asked me, because I am entertaining. But I just wanted to tell you that I really appreciate you bringing me in on this, because it has been a great thing. And I love the fact that we're able to use a free cost platform in order to educate individuals on different aspects and realms of mental health.
It's free, but it's not free.
It's free, but it's not free.
Free
Now, the
information.
counseling services are not free, and we pay a cost for a studio rental, but that's just the cost that we're willing to pay now to be the boss.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I appreciate
Absolutely.
that. So thank you,
Yeah.
Damien.
I appreciate it.
Damien got one button off his shirt today, and he's
Rico,
feeling all good.
Whatever.
You
Whatever.
can tell he's feeling good because he's missing buttons.
So again, back to the couch. The reason why we're all here. Last week we discussed, some of the symptoms or the mental health ramifications or whatever you want to call it in regards to the effects of domestic violence and intimate partner violence and what it was, how it's presented, things like that. So this week, unfortunately, we had Miss Juanetta Covington. Due to her position and what she does, she kind of ran overtime and she got kind of held up at her job. So unfortunately, she's not here today, but you have us.
But
still.
we are.
We're here, and we're going to have a ball. We're going to discuss
we
some
always
things.
do.
We're going to continue to discuss domestic violence because, of course, it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So each one of our sessions are going to be related somehow to domestic
violence.
Yes, absolutely. So today we're going to cover several things, not a whole lot. Like the preacher used to tell you back in the day, I'm not going to tarry before you too long. But you just never know when the spirit hits you. You might be in here for a while, y'all.
And also, we were overtime today, so we're going to be cutting the time a little bit shorter and try to be closer to 30 minutes if possible.
Unless God says otherwise.
Unless Damien becomes long-winded at the end and winds up talking another 10 minutes, which most of us can reject. So, where do we start today?
Well, as far as what we're going to discuss, we're discussing why victims of domestic violence or intimate partner violence, I guess, stay away from reporting or
talking about
it, disclosing it, getting out of those situations. What kind of hinders that particular process? Also, kind of like a man versus woman perspective in regards to, I guess, maybe how other people perceive you depending on gender in regards to domestic violence. And also we're going to talk about some current stories that you may know that you may not know that involves domestic violence.
Well, let me just say this. Just to jump in where you started,
I
find that talking to friends of mine over the years, some people, in the moments that they're willing to disclose, he grabbed me, or then I got in his face.
Right.
There's a certain level of comfort there with the friendship where they feel like maybe they won't be judged or they just need to get it out. And I see that as I get older, people and in friendships seem to judge a little less because a lot of us, and I say us collectively and in general, I'm not speaking about you and I specifically, but a lot of us as adults have been in tumultuous, heightened situations emotionally, where you reach out and grab somebody, or you may push a man you're in a relationship with and then kind of want to be like, I shouldn't have done that. And then we don't really want to be quick to disclose it because it makes you look like you have an anger problem.
Right.
Which you may, but it makes you look like you have an anger problem.
Right.
And it makes you look like you have no control over your emotions.
Right.
Then you're concerned with, if I tell one person, who will know, right? Because I think it's a law of the land pretty much that when one person knows, it's no longer a secret. My uncle always told me, if you want it to be a secret, you tell no one. You don't tell one person and hope they keep your secret.
Right. Oh.
You never know what someone's disclosing.
Absolutely.
So there's a fear there at times of, I don't know who they're going to tell. I'm afraid they may tell someone. And then what if this relationship turns out to be something I want to pursue? And you have informed people that there's problems with physical ramifications.
And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why people keep it to themselves, especially if it's, I guess, maybe not as severe on a physical level, but you have those particular episodes where, it may be something that you did that may have triggered this particular person, and they responded in an aggressive manner.
Okay.
And so you see these things, and you don't really want to tell like your best friends or your family
Right.
about what's going on, because you're still with this guy or this girl, and then you end up breaking up, but then y'all get back together, and it's like, why would you do that?
Well, then you open yourself up to
Yeah.
scrutiny and all
Right.
kind of judgments,
Right.
and a lot of people don't want to deal with that.
Right.
I think
they
yeah.
had one. I was listening to Power 98 this
Mhm.
morning on the situations that
Okay.
Ms. Jessica
Mhm,
has,
mhm.
and it wasn't dealing with domestic violence, but it was a woman. I guess she wrote a letter or called in and said that she had just recently got divorced, maybe 6 months ago, something like that.
Mhm.
But the parent still wanted to have.
Sorry, I'm pulling up the comments. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the comments. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm listening.
But the mom of the woman
Mhm.
still wanted to continue to pursue a relationship with her son-in-law.
Mhm.
And the only reason why, she didn't want the mom to continue it because of what he did to her.
Okay.
But because she didn't disclose what
Okay.
had happened in the relationship, mom felt it was like, okay, just because y'all marriage and it doesn't mean my
marriage with him
right,
doesn't have to
exactly.
end.
So
Okay.
that situation kind of reminded me of what we're talking about now, as far as
Okay.
opening up a can of worms, quote unquote, if you do tell somebody what's going on, a close friend or something like that, and then you end up forgiving this person and then getting back into the same situation.
You know what? Let's use that. Okay. I would like for those watching to comment and not to disclose personally whether they've been in a situation like that, but to disclose if they have a friend that may be in a situation where they don't fully disclose everything and they can sense it.
Right.
I want to know that, because I have people in my life who I could literally think of now who I believe are hiding something. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be somebody
Right.
is putting their hands on them, but
Right.
I think they're hiding something. And
Right.
I would just like to see by the number of people who are able to comment on this, yes, I have a friend who's going
Right.
through this, or I know someone who's going through this,
Mhm.
or, and if you don't say anything about that subject. But I just want to read to see if anybody else knows anybody going through a situation, because I think it's so common and we skip over it. It's just something untalked about. It's not a pleasant thing to discuss out in the open. No
Right.
one's sitting at McDonald's in the open discussing Tasha, who grabbed her boyfriend's neck last night and expected not to get hit.
Right.
So, but these things are happening.
Absolutely.
All the time.
And again, like we discussed last week, in regards to what domestic violence is, we kind of painted this picture that it's all different levels of domestic violence. You don't have to necessarily have to walk into work the next day with a black eye to be in a domestic violence situation.
I think we discussed the definition of domestic violence, and did you say inner partner? What did
Intimate
you
partner.
say? Intimate
So
partner.
like, somebody that you're
violence.
just dealing with or something.
Okay.
And one of the big ones that,
Wait, I was going to get the definition.
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Okay, I
Go
gotta
ahead.
stand up for myself. Okay, so listen. So what we were discussing is that domestic violence. Last we were talking about how it's not just putting your hands on somebody and being violent in their face.
Right.
We were talking about how in relationships you can be triggered, and it is emotional or physical or any other type of manipulation where you are utilizing fear
Right.
in order to change someone's behavior
Right.
or get them to do
Right.
something different than what they're already doing. Okay?
And,
Fear
and
tactics.
That the big word there was manipulation, and this goes for both men and women. But majority of the time, you're going to encounter, if you're in that type of situation, that person that is the aggressor in the situation normally is the one that's manipulating the situation and making it bigger than what it is, or whatever the case may be. Like, oh, you're cheating on me, so now I got to do this, or
All the time.
You know, it's a control thing, and it's a narcissistic thing as well. Those traits.
Don't get me started, because I'm thinking when October's over, we need to touch on narcissism. We may need to spend a whole month on it.
Oh man, that is
It's
very
a lot going on.
narcissistic.
A lot of
that we have to have a whole month just on narcissism. That's kind of.
I don't have a comment for Damien right now. Not a funny one or a smart
Hey,
one.
Nikisha,
So
how are
I
you?
gotta.
She's another
Hey,
one of
Tamika.
she's one of our fellow therapists as well.
Oh.
Yes, Miss Lynch,
I feel like
definitely.
I've seen her name before somewhere. Hey,
Yeah.
girl. Hey, girl.
Yeah,
Hey.
definitely. So, but I guess one of the biggest questions and one of the main things that we wanted to discuss today were reasons why victims stay in domestic violence situations or intimate partner violence situations. And actually, someone actually commented on here. Mrs. Dara, how are you? She says that sometimes people keep it to themselves out of fear. And that's basically, in a nutshell, that encompasses everything. Everything is out of fear.
That's right.
A fear of lack of financial support.
That's right.
And if you're in a situation where I'm the breadwinner and you're the stay-at-home mom,
and you're implementing fear,
right? I'm the big dude, like, you know.
I'm gonna be less likely to leave, consider leaving, plan to leave, and all that, because I'm now thinking of, I'm overwhelmed now. I'm putting myself in that situation. I am now mentally overwhelmed with the idea that, number one, this isn't working. Number two, this isn't what I envision.
Right.
Number three, I don't know what to do. I have no plan. And number four, this was my plan.
Right. And one of the biggest things when you're talking about these types of relationships is that the person that's manipulating the situation often pulls you away from those supports that you would have. Your best friends, family members, church, things like that you would often get that support where you can go and stay at their house or, you know, until you get on your feet. Most times they pull you away from those particular situations so that you don't have the financial stability or they don't want you to work.
It's also because they have a fear that without you, there's no one to punch on. So there's no punching bag if you leave. So that's also a part of it. Or if you find that your group of friends, you're having more fun with them than at home, you're more likely to be away. And so they lose the direct line of contact for abuse.
Yeah, absolutely. And
fear.
they have a fear of not being that the person is a punching bag, but the fear that they're going to lose control.
Almost fear of them not fearing you.
Right.
You not fearing them. Yeah, a fear of you not fearing them.
Yes. So again, like I said, there are like all of this domestic violence, intimate partner violence, all of this is based out of fear. Whether you're the victim or you're the aggressor.
Sure.
There's fear on both ends. You know. Another big reason, and I don't think this is necessarily like a demographic thing or a cultural thing, or it may be a cultural thing, but the family role expectations that you may have, or the social role expectations that you may have, causes you to fear or not to get out of that particular situation.
Social role expectations. So expand for the
So expand. So family role, of course, you know, if you grew up, let's say, you know, deep south or something like that, or not even deep south, if your parents were together, your mom and dad were in the household, and you had your grandparents, they were in the household, they didn't believe in divorce and all this stuff, you kind of sometimes have that mindset.
Yeah, that don't believe in divorce. That's very common.
You know, so you end up taking things that you normally wouldn't take, and then you're just in it for so long to where you just get comfortable in that uncomfortable situation. But it's almost like it's expected because your grandmother preached to you, you know, no matter what your husband does, you stay in this particular situation. I don't care if he has a side chick, a baby on the side, you know, all this, you know, if he comes and goes when he wants.
Those are great examples.
You know, things like that. But I'm serious. Like,
I know.
Like these are actual discussions.
In theory,
like,
yes.
Yes, you know, and it's not in theory because I've actually heard it with my own ears. Like grandparents saying, "No, you stick it out."
I mean,
regardless.
if we're not, I'm just mean because we're here now in theory. So yes, the conversations do happen.
Right.
Yes, I know.
So that expectation that's held on by cultural background, even religious background. You know, some people pour religion into it and say, well, God or whoever they serve doesn't want me to divorce this because it's been ordained by God, so I gotta stay in this particular situation, although he's kicking my butt every night, or although he's very controlling, or I don't have a life outside of this family.
Also, and this is something I was about to say. One of the comments, a lot of times, situations are mimicked from family history. So while you were talking, I was literally thinking, I use the phrase very generally when I say a lot of women or a lot of men. I'm just judging by my own personal experiences. I'm not giving facts based on what I looked up. From the 36 years I've been alive, I see that it is very common that women who have gone through difficult situations with men that talk down to them in a certain type of way or anything like that, exposed to things like that in the homes growing up, they seem to accept a role, right? Absolutely. And they may even accept the role as victim more willingly, so that also interferes with the willingness to leave. Right. Because it's what they accept as love or affection. And then that's when you get all the, is everything okay at home? And then you hear the excuses, but they don't know their excuses. Right. They're just going down a list of, he does this well, he does that, he does this. And he doesn't have to put his hand on it.
He's under a lot of pressure. He's been doing X,
this
Y,
is stressful and we're trying.
It's a new baby.
We're going to therapy.
A lot of that. Yeah, you get a lot of that. But it's kind of like the aggressor of domestic violence, for the most part, and this stems from that narcissism a little bit. They know how to pick. Yes. Who their partners, who
they do that to.
Exactly. So they're going to prey on that weak. So again, I think I saw it on someone comment said something about low self-esteem. Your low self-esteem didn't start with that partner. It may have started in your childhood, early teen years, something like that. And people pick up on that. I pick up on that energy. If I know that you have a lower self-esteem, or you're not as confident in yourself as I see you, then I pick up on that. It's an energy thing.
Okay, so let's touch on that. You pick up that I am a confident person?
Yes, absolutely.
I did not always exude that, I don't feel. I feel like I was exuding it, but enough to satisfy people around me.
So, but when I'm saying lower self-esteem, it's the nonverbals, and there's also the verbal. It's the way that you communicate, but it's also what you don't say. Okay. Your posture, the way you walk around, the way that you kind of carry yourself. That's how people pick up on these types of things. Okay. If I saw someone out, at a bar or something somewhere, I could tell for the most part whether this person is confident within themselves or not. And the ones that are not as confident and then happen to be attractive at the same time, most guys that have that narcissistic type of
go towards. So it's easy prey, really, of getting into a relationship, showing them what they need to see in order to secure it, and then move forward. So you're saying, okay, I got it. You're saying that you look for a certain type of confidence in a woman because you're not, number one, you're not shaped that way. You're not that type of person. You're not a narcissist. I know that for a fact. I'm not just talking to make him look good. Damien is not a narcissist. He's also not single, so we know. So anyway, basically,
go through that every week.
It's fun. So to put him on the spot, but anyway. Basically, we have to have some fun. Yeah, of course. You can't be serious all the time. You look for a certain type of confidence because you know what you're getting into, you want to know what you're dealing with, and you know what you're looking for. Right. Then what he's saying, on the other hand, is a lot of narcissists prey on a certain type of woman. So when you're out at a bar with your friends and you're getting hit on by a strong, confident guy, you also may want to be careful to do some picking through what you see. Right. Take more time to get to know someone, because that narcissistic behavior can easily lead to domestically violent situations. So the two do not completely go hand in hand, but we do see that a lot.
Those characteristics are kind of similar.
Because it's someone who
Right.
carries the trait of an abuser, who also carries the traits of someone who we just spoke about is trying to instill fear, change your thoughts to match theirs, and to get you to adapt to their
Right.
way of thinking.
You got it.
Yes.
Wow.
Boom.
That was some good points right there.
And a lot of the women watching have dated a narcissist.
And I think we have a lot of women that actually have been tuning in, if not on the live, actually going back and, listening to it, because this is some very good information as far as picking up the different signs and things that men do, but not only just men, it's women too.
Women do it too.
Yeah, y'all can be some savages sometimes.
Oh.
Was that too raw? Is that like...
I want you to give...
after-
Okay, you can't just... Somebody tell Damien he can't just be making these bland statements and not give examples. Damien says women can be savages.
In regards to...
I wanna know.
In regards to their aggression and their...
Aggression in relationships?
Right, and being abusive, but not...
Blatantly?
No, it's blatant.
Oh, really?
But because it's the woman doing it towards the man, it's like...
Give examples.
What are you gonna do? Are you gonna like turn me into the cops? Are you gonna report me for being domestically violent towards you because I'm in your face and I'm doing all this and I'm poking and prodding? That's what I mean by being a savage.
Okay, so we were talking about that before. Triggering.
Yes,
women.
absolutely.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
Damien is going back to a point that we discussed last week about...
No slashing tires and busting out windows and stuff like that. That is a form of abuse. You're trying to control me. You don't want me to go nowhere, so you slashing my tires so I can't drive away.
Contrary to what a lot of people think watching, we have not been in a relationship before. We just work very well together. And oftentimes, we relate to one another while we're doing this. I don't slash tires. I never have. Been caught. I've never been caught slashing a tire. Look.
Yo,
So...
like, seriously.
Okay.
Seriously.
Seriously. Okay, the triggering.
But definitely
the taunting.
The taunting, the over...
Traumatization?
No, the over... What's the word I'm looking for? The strong woman just being overly strong. Just, aggressive. Like, oh, I'm a woman and you're not going to...
Excessively and aggressively emotional?
Yeah.
Like using aggression with you?
Whatever you want to
Okay,
call it. But the people
trying
that
to
saw
be
me live
articulate about
understood
that.
what I was saying. Just like, that type of thing.
Okay.
Like, oh, okay.
Well,
Yeah, once you get too close and you start wanting to slash tires and pulling out knives and all this stuff.
so we talked about that too, the signs for knowing when to pull away.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but men complain about that a lot of the time. However, they're still choosing to deal with it and to stay. So why would that be? Can you give a male perspective on why a male may stay with a woman who is taunting him physically? Come on with it. Hey, Ron.
It's a lot of different variables with that. From personal experience, like when you first get into a relationship with someone and they're somewhat assertive, almost aggressive, you're like, okay, well, she ain't no pushover.
I like that. Okay, I hear that too.
But after a year or two, that right there, okay, it's a little bit too much. You need to and then be like, well,
wait a minute.
They'd be like, well, you've dealt with it this long. Like, why should I change now? Well, I was about to curse. I'm sorry. Well, no, like...
You're speaking of if it leads to taunting and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, because all aggressive women
Mm-hmm.
do not exude that type of, in your face.
It don't have to be that, but that was just a stereotypical...
I took that personally.
Type of thing. But you can be sharp and cut like a knife with your tongue. Definitely.
I know that I'm capable of it.
Right.
But I have matured out of ever wanting to express myself like that. I mean, and it took years. But I feel like I got to a point, I started out not expressing myself very much. Then I was pushed by someone I was dating to express myself. Express yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got more confident with expressing. Then I went overboard
in
anger. Like in angry moments, I started to feel like I could do those things.
Mm-hmm.
And this person who cared for me for
Right.
years would just never push back.
Right.
Honestly. And this was oh my goodness, this was years ago. This was I was 23. So this 13 years ago or something. And fortunately, I'm friends with the person now. But there was a point where he said to me, he's not my he's not on Facebook, so you would never see him on here. Thanks.
Oh, okay.
I
wanted to see if he was
he
like,
would never
yes,
do that.
I remember that.
No, he would never do that because, afterwards, after that episode happened where I kind of got into his face, and he was like 6'4", I'm 5'2", but I was that pumped up in anger where I was in his face. I did not touch him, but I remember after the incident, he said to me, look, if I ever feel like I need to grab you or touch you, we cannot date.
Right.
And it ended after 5 years, a week later. And I was glad that he was mature enough, at least in that.
Right.
But we had moments before where things had got hostile. But at that moment, I think he felt she's pushing me too far.
Right.
And I don't want to go to jail.
Right.
So I'm going to,
Absolutely.
And so we talk about it now. And where I was saying he wouldn't comment because at some point he told me, hey, what you said, right? He said, I preyed on you because I was insecure. And I'm sorry. And I was flabbergasted to hear that from a grown man.
Right.
I mean, he's a lawyer now. But he called me and told me that this was not your fault. I was weak. I was insecure.
And weak meaning not knowing how
really
to
express, communicate effectively.
Right,
Yep.
right.
And
not
so
necessarily
he said that.
physically weak,
Right.
but
Not physically. He wasn't physically weak. And like I said, I was a foot smaller.
Right.
So what he said was, basically, like you said some men scope certain type of women out.
Yeah.
He knew I was quiet at the time, whether you can believe it or not. I was quiet. I didn't speak my mind much at all. And so he
you
used
mean
that.
something when you look in the camera and you tilt.
Well, I just want the people to believe me, so I got to look them straight in the eye. So, look, because I know that's hard to believe at times, but I'm just saying I was glad that he said that, and that puts validity to what you're saying. It makes the point completely valid to me, that he admitted that. That he basically liked being in that relationship because he was able to manipulate it.
And that's what it is. You manipulate out of fear.
Yeah, he was
And
afraid
you
I would
being a
leave.
little small, 5'2", whatever, however tall you are, you little. Did you always go for the 6'2", 6'3" guys just to kind of overcompensate? For me,
Not to overcompensate.
I've always been smaller. I mean,
Okay.
I consider myself average height.
This is a whole nother segment. I don't date tall dudes because I'm overcompensating. A lot of short women date tall dudes. For what reasons, girls? And they don't want to comment either why they date tall dudes.
It's for
protection. There's a reason. It's for protection.
Secure. So that plays right into the part. See, she already turned it directly on me. That's fine. Y'all don't need to see her face.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. But if you're doing that just because this guy looks big and he's tall, he's gonna automatically protect you from what? You see what I'm saying? From yourself? Have you ever thought okay, if he get angry with me and he's twice my size, he can literally just throw me across the room?
Literally, I thought about that in college, and I stayed away from dating athletes. You could never pin me with an athlete in college. This mic is in your face, dear.
Okay.
So you couldn't pin me with an athlete because at 17, 18, I was scared. I was too little. That's what I thought. Hey, I'm too short and small. If this ever got, if I ever got real verbal and somebody wanted to thrash me, it would be very easy. I literally thought about that through college, and that's why I stayed away.
So again, to go all the way back, all this is out of fear on both ends.
Sure.
On both ends.
Okay.
So, what's another? And I guess we can kind of move on to the next kind of bullet point that we have. But again, it's a fear, but it's also a fear. For most, it's a fear of being alone or having to start over. That's a huge one. If you've been with this person, 5, 10, 15 years, and maybe you've been a housewife or whatever the case may be, and y'all, he's been doing it all this time, and you just the fear of starting over, starting from scratch, not having anything possibly, You know,
Sure.
you never know with divorce and alimony and all that stuff. Not even go there, but just that thought of having to start from scratch keeps people in situations in hopes that eventually, like, the tables will turn or he will stop doing what he's doing just automatically without
False hope.
without even trying to go through the different alternatives, whether that's therapy or something.
Wait, Damien, there's a therapeutic term for that, isn't it? It's like non-evidenced therapeutic approach. Like, it's almost like people come up with their own idea of how things should be, but it's non-evidence. There's no evidence behind it to support it, right? I forget the term right now, but there's a real term for it, so I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up later.
It's like 7:00.
Okay,
so my brain is starting to like.
Well, okay, so you know what I was thinking, because we had other topics that we wanted to cover. However, we have the whole month. Like, we have like 2 more weeks to cover these topics.
Absolutely.
So we don't have to cram it all. But we like to aim to stop our segment at 7:00 because there are various other things going on,
and people have short attention spans.
Like Damien,
just
who cannot let me finish a sentence from week to week.
Hey,
do you know I play back the old stuff and watch, and I'm like, when Damien gonna jump in? There he goes. That's okay, because this works. But I think these are important things to take away from today. So touch on the bullet points that we covered. Do you know the bullet points that we covered today? Do I need to repeat them back?
No, just why victims stay, and that's
why victims stay out of fear. Fear is the main thing.
Right.
We also talked about how narcissism can relate to abuser mind frame, right? And how they can mix with their thinking patterns.
Absolutely.
And how a man or a woman may scope out a certain man or woman in public in order to appease their fears.
Yes.
Ooh,
so definitely stay tuned. Again, this is our first time in
the
podcast studio that we're going to be in for a while. We're going to air it on Power 104.4
on Mondays.
On Mondays at 2 p.m. So if you missed this live or you want to play it back and you can't do it because you're at work and you're not supposed to be on Facebook, then you just tune in. I'm going to send you all the instructions to download the app.
Okay, so you're going to put it on the page.
Yeah, I'm going to put it on the page. You can download the app. It's free. Just make sure you have just a little bit of space. Those iPhones don't have that much space. But download it. You can pull up the actual, at 2 p.m., that's when it'll air. 2 to 3, we'll have some music, probably some good old R&B, midday chill music in between the segments. So we're definitely excited about this. So I appreciate you guys for viewing thus far and seeing us progress from the bench. Jay
Arthur likes to bring that up.
From the bench to
the couch
to the couch, and so now we're in the studio and we're going to be on the airwaves. So it's an awesome thing. I'm blessed. I appreciate you guys, and I hope that y'all continue to tune in.
Oh, share this. Share this.
As always.
Because someone on your page can benefit from it, or someone, tapping into someone else's page can benefit from it. So make sure that you share it so people know that they can get their hands easily on this information concerning domestic violence from week to week this month.
Absolutely. So just share it. Just because it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month, just share it. Just not because you like me or you like Jackie over here or you like us and what we do.
Nobody likes you enough solely to share it, Damien. Except one person watching.
Yes.
And we already know who that is. Hey, girl.
And yes, I did take a shot at the iPhone. Yes, I did take a shot at the iPhone.
Okay, great. So thanks, guys, for tuning in.
Yes.
We will see you next Wednesday for Facebook Live on the couch in the studio. And we will also, you'll hear us, I guess, on the internet airwaves on Monday from 2 to 3 on Power 104.
Yes, absolutely. I appreciate you guys again, as always. What, Jackie?
Oh, see you on the couch.
Your mental health matters.
Bye.
All right, y'all be easy.
Have a good night.